The Monster Mile takes a big bite out of the field. It's an all-Penske podium again in Pennsylvania. And it was not a golden night for Steve Kinser in California. That's all next on Race Day, live from Dover. Good evening, everybody. I'm Pat Patterson, and the word may be ouch is to best describe today's Splitfire 500 here in Dover. There are going to be some very sore drivers tomorrow after another punishing Dover race. Jason Young explains.
If Dover had a theme song, it would probably be the Monster Mash. That's Michael Waltrip after contact with Jimmy Spencer on the front stretch. Waltrip was okay, but the Pennzoil Pontiac was headed to the garage. One thing you don't want at Dover is a tire problem, and that's why Dale Earnhardt had to make an unscheduled stop. That put him back to 29th, one lap down. Jeff Burton had just taken the lead when he apparently lost the right front tire and completely destroyed the Ray Bestis machine. We got to give a call to the crews on pit road. Before Jeff came to a complete stop, a number of team members went to pull him out of the car. It was a scary moment, but he wasn't seriously injured. Then Mike Wallace took his turn in the wrong direction and caused Louis Allen to scrape the wall. Joe Nemechek was real unhappy after he smashed the Meineke machine after he had been running up front all day. There was even a slight accident on pit road. That's Dale Jarrett sideways and Harry Gant. Jarrett put the finishing touches on his number 18 mount with a quick trip to the wall. The resulting yellow allowed the Winston Cuppers to go drag racing with Darrell Waltrip and Mark Martin in a race that put Martin out in second on the restart. The lead was up for grabs with Waltrip and Kenny Schrader in the top spot for a time, but with just over 100 to go, Martin in the 6th was the man in control and built up a 7-second lead over second place Rusty Wallace with only 26 laps to go. But trouble on the 10 of Ricky Rudd became big trouble for Martin, whose lead began to evaporate to just over 2 seconds. Then it all came apart for Mark Martin. This gave the race to Wallace, or did it? The Miller Genuine Draft Ford was running on fumes and the left rear tire was going down. But somehow Wallace held on for his 7th victory of the year. Dale Earnhardt was second, followed by Waltrip, Ken Schrader, and Jeff Bodine. I'm Jason Young, reporting for Race Day.
Thanks, J-Man, for another strong run in the top 5. Ken Schrader's crew chief, Ken Howes, is today's UAW GM Teamwork of Excellence Award winner, and you got to believe that that team is going to win a race here real soon. Speaking of winning, just about every time Race Day shows up at a racetrack, Rusty Wallace is there to win, and he stopped by just after win number 7. It looked as if you were going to catch Mark. Did you feel like you could?
Well, I could not have caught Mark until he had that problem. Him and Ricky Rudd got together when Ricky blew that tire, I guess, but he got caught up in it. But when that happened, Buddy called me on the radio and said, hey, Mark's smoking real bad. He's really dropped off the pace. Don Miller called up and said, hey, no, he's got his left front fender tore up, and he's lost all his downforce, it looks like, or toe in or something went wrong. And, man, I was catching him in the half to 6, 7 tenths per lap, and that was incredible. And then when I got to him, I got like 5 car lengths behind him with like 8 laps to go.
Right.
And at that point, I really thought I could have passed him, but then again, hey, getting to a guy is one thing, and going around is another thing.
Second question is, all right, once you saw what was unfolding, how far did your stomach sink below your seat when you started thinking about the fuel pickup in your car, not having any fuel to finish the thing?
That's a good question, because I tell you what, early in the race, I'm running along, and all of a sudden I hit pit road, and everybody's going, what is he doing? The pit road is closed. Well, I ran out of gas. I ran out of gas on the banking, and I coasted down the hill, and it relit, and I said, I got to go pit road. I'm going to have to come here, take the penalty, go tail back, right, and do the whole deal, and I did that. So then I told Buddy, I said, look, this might happen again later in the race. I said, let's keep thinking about it. So he called me up with 5, 6 laps to go on the caution. He says, man, we only got 3 gallons in that car, and it's got to run out. And it did.
And the third question is, now all of a sudden, they might restart the race, and you are leading it. At that point, what did you think?
I'm thinking, man, please don't do that right now. I said, I hope this track stays dirty and messed up when we can finish this thing under caution. But on the flip side of that, Dale's out of gas. He's on the apron trying to keep her running. I'm on the apron trying to keep her running. Then when they threw the white flag and said, hey, everything's okay, I come down the back straight, run over a brake road, and blow the left rear tire out.
Alan Kwiecki won a championship with less races to go and being less points behind. it still a reality? Can it still happen?
It's definitely a reality. It sure is, and I want to win it so bad it's unbelievable, you know. But Earnhardt just keeps finishing there. Just, you know, he ran better today, and I've seen him run a long time. He ran a great race today, and he finished second. And he's doing what he's got to do. He keeps laying the numbers on the board, very consistent. Hey, we looked at the books the other day. I lost 350-some points at Daytona and Talladega. And that's got me so far behind, it's incredible. I'm trying to catch back up, but the good part is that we've won 7 races so far.
Great run today.
Thank you very much. I sure appreciate it.
Now to the NHRA, where the annual Keystone Nationals just wrapped up a few hours ago. Mark Allen has the final round highlights.
This may have been the most amazing day in NHRA history. In top fuel eliminations, Scott Coletta posts an all-time speed record of 308.95 miles per hour. We move on to the finals. It's Coletta for the 9th time against Pat Dakin, whose last final round appearance came while Jimmy Carter was still president. Forget it, Pat. Scott backs up his 308 effort with a 304-mile-per-hour pass to make it a new national record at 308. His ET of 475 is amazing. The word amazing also might work for funny car, where this is what happened to Al Hoffman early in eliminations. And when's the last time anyone can remember a near blowover in funny car? In the finals, it was, who else? John Force, looking to get back in the win column after Cruz Pedregon won the U.S. Nationals. Pedregon didn't have a prayer as Force blazed to a 501 with a national funny car speed record of 302.11. Pro Stock was almost a ho-hum affair after those fireworks. Darrell Alderman just happy to be here, and Warren Johnson, who had to be getting tired of getting beaten up by those Dodge boys this year. He'll have to grind his teeth another week because Alderman won for the 4th time this year with a 702 pass at 195 miles per hour. This is Mark Allen reporting for Race Day.
Thanks, Mark. And we nearly had tragedy in that series late last week. Darrell Alderman and some passengers on the team's plane consider themselves very lucky to be alive after that aircraft went out of control while nearing Reading, Pennsylvania. The pilot regained control and landed it safely, but the plane has been grounded because of structural damage from that high G dive. Thank goodness. Up next, IndyCar action from Nazareth. Stay with us.
Race Day is brought to you in part by Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it isn't. And by Mopar Chrysler Corporation Parts and the Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge, Dodge Truck, Jeep and Eagle dealers who sell and install them.
And welcome back live to Dover. This is Race Day. A Penske driver had already won the series crown, and 2 Penske pilots were on the front row. So who won the IndyCar race in Pennsylvania? Brian Baxter has the answer.
It was back to the ovals for the IndyCars as Emerson Fittipaldi had the pole in a record qualifying time for the Nazareth 200. Paul Tracy edged past his Penske teammate on lap 1 to grab the lead in heavy traffic on the 1-mile tri-oval at Nazareth Speedway. The first caution of the day came as Mario Andretti, trying to pass outside Eddie Cheever, got into Cheever's front tire and then slammed into the wall, ending his day and his IndyCar career on the oval tracks. On the restart, Paul Tracy got a good jump, extending his lead, still chased by Emerson Fittipaldi and Al Unser Jr., who started 18th and moved up to challenge for the lead. Al Jr. and Emerson battled for second position, and Fittipaldi ran down into the grass trying to get through traffic, allowing little Al to slip by on the high side to take second. Another incident and another yellow came as Adrian Fernandez up near the wall got bumped by Jack Villeneuve and slammed hard into both the outside and the inside walls. Fernandez limped away from the wreckage. On the restart, Tracy again held off the challenges of his teammates as the Penske trio lapped the entire field. Al Unser Jr. couldn't challenge, and Paul Tracy had a flawless run to take the checkered flag for his 7th career IndyCar win.
The car was working great all day. I was a little bit nervous when I came up on Al to lap him, and he went away from me. So I was a little bit nervous that he got his car working, but we were able to hold him off in the end.
It was Tracy's first IndyCar win on an oval. 1994 PPG points champion Al Unser Jr. finished second, and Emerson Fittipaldi third for another Penske 1-2-3 finish at Nazareth. I'm Brian Baxter reporting.
Meanwhile, down in the Lone Star State, the Trans Am season ended this afternoon with a wild race that saw one car go airborne. We'll have the highlights next Sunday, but we can tell you that Ron Fellows dominated the Dallas Street Course event for the win. And here's a look at the rest of the top five. Pruitt nails down the series championship. But the Dodge Shelby Pro Championship is still undecided as Scott Harrington failed to finish in the top five. The victory went to pole sitter Chris Winkler, and with the most diverse top five we've seen in the series this year. The finale will be at Atlanta Motor Speedway coming up in November. Now, the Pro Rally Championship is still up for grabs, but anyone trying to catch Paul Schwanier better bring a rope and after this weekend's big rally in Ohio.
This pretty much tells how the Ohio Pro Rally stop was. Wet and slippery. And it was easy to get out of shape. Real easy. But to their credit, this country's best rally drivers managed to keep it on the road. Most of the time. Now, the number 4 car of Jeff Swart and Martin Headland would be having a fine season if it wasn't for the 1 car of Paul Schwanier. The national champion 3 of the past 4 years had a new navigator this race, with regular co-pilot Jeff Becker away on business. He tapped John Buffum, which is like trading gold for diamonds. Their Audi Quattro blitzed the 38-car field by 2 minutes, and the national title is Schwanier's if he wins either of the final 2 events. The top 2 finishers were in the open class, with 3rd place going to a Class A Mazda.
All right, coming up next, we'll sprint out west for SCRA and World of Outlaws actions. Don't you go away. And welcome back live to Dover Downs, where Rusty Wallace won this afternoon's Split Fire 500. The Sprint Car Racing Association had a good show last night in Phoenix. Here's what we mean.
Richard Griffin led an assault on the Manzanita Speedway record book with the best ever time trial. In the trophy dash, it was the Ripper Rip Williams setting another fastest ever mark. Quick, look at the tire rolling along the wall. Now back another 100 feet, and there's Ron Kreppel trying to figure out where he is. His bell was rung, and nothing was broken. In the feature, there was passing everywhere, but at the point where Ron Schumann took the lead from the first corner and wouldn't let go. It's not that Mike English, who started 7th, and others didn't try to catch him. It's just that Schu was hooked up. Griffin stormed through the field from 8th and had the crowd watching his every move. It was Schu all the way for the feature win, his 6th of the year. English and Griffin had a mini war for 2nd, with the gas man winning it. This is Neil Kasselbaum reporting for RaceDay.
You know, it seems like every year that Steve Kinzer wins the Knoxville Nationals, he goes out west and wins the Gold Cup. But he'll have to go full-time racing in NASCAR next year without this year's Gold Cup crown. Mark Allen has that story.
In Thursday's prelim, Steve Kent was leading until this little tussle with Jason Stadler that cost him the air in his left rear tire within a few laps. In the end, Sammy Swindell passed Dave Blaney to take the $4,000 win. In Friday's prelim, Andy Hillenberg did something you don't see very often. Pass Steve Kinzer and make it stick for the win. Okay, the B-main last night. Big crash, all okay, and all but Robert Farr and Mike Hubert Jr. returned. In the Gold Cup feature, Steve Kinzer on the pole with Jeff Swindell outside and into the lead right from the green. Stevie K never led. With Swindell leading, approaching halfway, the STP driver caught Kinzer and pushed him back to 3rd. But could he catch Swindell? With 11 laps to go, the answer was a resounding yes. Meanwhile, Kinzer, who was after Gold Cup win number 10, had a right rear tire go down that pushed him back to 10. At the other end of the spectrum, Hillenberg drove a strong race and picked up the $20,000 winner's check. Outlaw regulars took the top 4 positions with Tyner best of the West. This is Mark Allen reporting for RaceDay.
All right, thanks, Mark. In case you haven't heard, Steve Kinzer has signed with Kenny Bernstein to race the Winston Cup full-time next year, so we sampled some opinions from the folks who know him best.
You know, I've always been a sprint car fan, and I don't know. It ain't going to seem right, you know, not seeing him out there running, but I guess you've got to... If you want to make a move, you're going to have to do it now. You can't wait forever.
It's going to be a different experience for him, that's for sure. You know, it's quite a bit different from what he's used to. So, you know, all the luck to him, really.
I think it was great. You know, I think he deserved it, and you know, I hope he does well.
Oh, very excited. It's something I think is way overdue. This is where the racers used to come from sprint ranks into different things. We already got a few of them down there in NASCAR now, so here's another one. But I think it's way overdue. I think it's a total positive for the World of Outlaws, for Winston Cup, and everybody concerned.
Well, I wish him all the luck in the world. He sure is one of the best drivers in sprint cars, and I think he'll do real well in those cars. And he deserves what he's getting. I mean, there's no question, and it's going to leave a lot of money open for the other drivers. I mean, he's won a big sum of money this year, and it's going to let a little more for everyone else. But we sure wanted to beat him before he left, and I'm not going to count him out yet.
I was just talking to him about 5 minutes ago, congratulating him on it. I just heard about it yesterday. Actually, I was a little behind everybody. Went home this week, but you know, a lot of people said, "Oh, that's great, that's great." You know, it would be a lot easier to win the championship next year and all that. And I said, "Well, that ain't what we're here for. I wanted him to stay here. I wanted to kick his butt one year before he left, but." I'm real happy for him that he got it, and I wish him a lot of luck with it. So hopefully he'll drag a few of us down there with him so it'll make it feel like home the next couple of years.
Carl Kinzer is Steve's car owner, and look for Carl's son, Mark Kinzer, to run that mount next year. The video gremlins grumbled up our star highlights, I should say, but we can show you who won the last two features this past week. Gary Wright got the win in Bloomington on Friday night, and that's a pretty strong top 5. Then last night, the Dude showed up and won what we believe is his 9th straight time in all forms of sprint car racing, and of course we'll have the video for you next Sunday. Next, we'll tell you who won the AMA Superbike Championship today when Race Day rolls on from Dover.
Race Day is brought to you in part by Mopar Chrysler Corporation Parts and the Chrysler Plymouth, Dodge Truck, Jeep and Eagle dealers who sell and install them.
And welcome back to Dover, everybody. Congratulations go out to Troy Corser, who is this year's 1994 AMA Superbike champion. Even though he didn't win today's finale at Road Atlanta, his 4th place finish was 3 positions ahead of Jamie James, who had the lead going into this race. By the way, Scott Russell's second U.S. race this year, he was the winner down at Road Atlanta. Now, we've already told you who won the Gold Cup race at Chico, but before that annual event was run, $15,000 was up for grabs in a full wing show.
What in California do as the Bay Cities Racing Association drivers do? Get yourself a midget ride like Brent Kading did, and Sammy Swindell, who liked the looks of a $3,000 winner's check. But number 15, Billy Boat, was on what you'd call a roll. Fast qualifier, heat winner, and he drew the pole pill for the feature. Want to guess how he fared? He's gone. See ya. Silver Dollar Speedway, though, wasn't so kind to Johnny Kofer, who triggered the only stoppage of the evening. That was the only thing that slowed Boat, who led every lap. And as they say, a good time was had by just about all.
And last Thursday, helmets and fire suits were traded for ball caps and cleats in the annual NHRA IndyCar charity softball game. Stephanie Boyd has the story of the NHRA.
Pat, you know, in just about every sport, they say it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. Well, they had a lot of fun here tonight, but as for how they played the game, that was pretty interesting. Never mind that Joe Amato found a new friend to help relive his old disco days, or that John Force brought along a furry friend of his own to man the stands. We can even overlook the Blues Brothers slingshotting hot dogs into the crowd. But when it came to the action on the field, that's where things got ugly. Here's Kenny Bernstein with a line drive down the middle for the NHRA. The IndyCar infield had a little trouble handling the ball, and that left the door wide open for Richard Hartman to make one of the best plays of the game on his way to third. It was deja vu all over again when Gordy Bonin went to bat. A line drive down the middle, but this time the drop was at first base. The IndyCar team just couldn't get a grip on things, and by the time the play was done, Bonin rounded all the bases with another run batted in. That's pretty much how things went all night, making it obvious that the straight-liners had practiced and the IndyCar guys had not. At the end of 9 innings, it was IndyCar 9, NHRA 27. But with proceeds from the Rick Mears Night of Champions going to benefit the Miami project, everybody went home a winner. This is Stephanie Boyd reporting for Race Day.
All right, now the URC sprints were also in action in Delaware on Friday evening.
In the 25-lap feature at Seacoast Speedway, pole sitter Mike Wells took the point at the green and led the early going. Meanwhile, 8th place starter Greg Coverdale moved all the way into second by the time they were halfway around the first lap. Coverdale started trying to catch Wells, and it looked like he had him a few laps later as they came through turn 2. It turns out the caution was already flying for a stopped car in turn 4, and Coverdale had to move back to second. On the restart, it was still Wells up front, but the 28 machine was on the move. By lap 9, Coverdale had caught the leader again, and this time the pass for the top spot was good. There were a couple of minor cautions that closed the field up, but from there on out it didn't matter. Coverdale was hooked up and dominated the rest of the way to take a popular victory in front of his hometown crowd and come within 15 points of series leader Dave McGuff in the title chase. McGuff finished third behind John Eldrith. Wells wound up fourth, and Kramer Williamson was fifth.
All right, thanks, Steph. And last night I got invited out for my big sprint car debut up at Airport Speedway. We got rained out in the feature, but I want to say a special thanks to Al and Judy Dellinger, the number 24 car, for letting me get behind the wheel there and have some fun. It's a great facility up at Airport, and many thanks to all those guys up there. The micro sprint racing up there is something to see if you ever get a chance. That's it for us here in Dover Downs International Speedway. Our thanks to Dennis McGlynn and his entire staff for all their hospitality this weekend. I'm Pat Patterson. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.